Hello and welcome to another episode of The Journey. It's a great day to be with you all on New Year's Eve. First New Year's Eve sober and probably, I don't know, 26 years. Yeah. So today I'm just going to talk a little bit more, my weekly routine. So on the last episode, I talked about getting sober and realizing that sobriety was not the finish line. It was just the starting point, honestly. And this episode is not about progress or a breakthrough at all. It's actually about something quiet or something happens and people don't realize it. So today it's really more about learning how to pause instead of react. That's for today. That's what we're going to. So this last week presented a few challenges for me. There was some changes at my new job. It increased a little bit of pressure. It created uncertainty for me. So what it's like I started this job. It's a new thing for me. I'm working from home, things I've never done before. I I sit on the computer all day, which is something completely different that I've done before. I've always worked with my hands. I've been a cook, I've been a construction worker, a butcherman. I mean, you might say I'm a jack of all trades. So yeah, like I was doing my job. I thought I was doing it correctly. So I was happy, and then they sent out a company-wide email saying that we are not doing our jobs correctly, that we are to do it a certain way, but it was never described to us before. And so personally, I got really upset that day. I got mad. I of course reacted, and and I started going into one of my little manic episodes, and I was mad, upset, just creating, drama. And then after a while, I just was like, no, just wait, I was like, let's think about it a little bit. Let's see why, what's going on. So I looked at the email again. I noticed it wasn't a personal attack. Still a little ambiguous. So, instead of getting upset and quitting a job or writing an email back and complaining, I just started just thinking about this, and I looked at more opportunities. I found a few. So yeah, that was one of my first instances this last week, where I've experienced anger. I thought I don't experience it often. Yeah, I used to think I was always a happy guy, but lately I noticed it more. My thought patterns, I paid more attention to them. I'm not drinking all the time, so I have time to think. So, my reaction, of course, like I explained, it was frustration, racing thoughts, that desire to quit or a desire to do something. I felt a need to do something, and I just paused. I did not act on it. I did not quit. I did not explode. I did not force a decision. And things that I in the past I would have just been so quick to all of the above to do all of those things because I like I thought that I needed the closure right away. But instead, this time I just paused it. I paused the situation. I didn't know you were allowed to do that, honestly, but I tried it. And I mean, it didn't solve anything, no. I mean, it prevented something. Yeah, sure. It didn't solve it. Yeah, it prevented. I mean, in and of itself, that's was pretty cool. Like the next day or two, I like thought about that, and I was like, okay, that's like one of the first situations where remember getting vividly angry and then not acting on it, emotionally and creating an outcome that did not harm me. They didn't help, but it didn't harm me. So that was pretty cool. So that was that one instance. And then, so on another instance, and this one was a little more, uh, this was a little more challenging for me. Um, it was in my therapy group I was doing, and when I started therapy, of course, nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to admit they need help, especially when you think you have your life figured out, and you think you're an adult and you're working, you're maintaining your family, you take care of your kids. So for the most part, you think you're all right, but anywho, so it's an uncomfortable place sometimes for to show up. You know, um, especially at the beginning. Now, the more I did it, the easier it got, and yeah. So we did something in our therapy group. It was like a less. And the crazy thing is that it happened really quickly. So they were like kind of like analyzing us, and my therapist was like, "Are you comfortable with me talking about these things?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I'm not comfortable, but I'm gonna need I need to hear the uncomfortable truths, so maybe I can start, working on myself on those things." So yeah, needless to say, so she was able to pretty much tell me exactly my trauma, and it was things that I've never shared with anybody, or things that I hold very close to myself. And I mean, my loved ones don't even know this. I don't tell anybody. It's for me, it was a caused me a lot of shame. It made me feel guilty, embarrassed. So I always hid it. And to be honest, you hide it, and then like it's not that you forget about it. Your mind just pushes it. It's like out of sight, out of mind, and long story short, when she started telling me that, I was like upset, not at her, not mad at her. I was just upset that wow, like, how could she have figured that out, like, without me saying anything? That's what really blew my mind. It was like, I never said anything. I never mentioned it to her. She literally got this from asking me to draw a house. And I drew a house, and she was able to figure everything out. Part of me wanted to argue or wanted to deny or push back, but how is that going to help? What is that going to do? So, but my natural instinct is fight, you know, fight or flight. And, so I just wanted to leave. I didn't want to be in the group. I didn't want to. But it's like if you don't do the work, if you don't listen, then how are you going to get better? So I forced myself to be quiet and just listen to what she had to say. I answered politely the things that she was asking, that even though they were uncomfortable. I didn't go into detail about my trauma, and I won't here because that's not what this show's about. We're not trauma dumping. We're not talking about past use or stuff like that. I mean, we might brush over it, but this is what it's about. So, you know, so I just sat with it, and like the thing was, I'm sorry, I noticed discomfort, a lot of discomfort, and then, like I said, with her, I wanted to explain, justify it. You feel that pressure, right? You feel that pressure, but I didn't, I did not. So the thing was like I said, I stayed present And by being present, I allowed myself to process the information a little bit better. Yes, I was angry, I was bothered, but the more these things are happening, I start realizing that it doesn't mean that you have to react negatively. So I just like sat there and I started letting my insight, like the insight, it come later because I didn't get it. I didn't understand. So like that's where I learned and started learning like you can regulate even before you get the clarity. You don't have to have clarity, but you need to regulate because it's not good. So that's something that I learned for myself. Hopefully that might be something helpful. I don't know, but it's just strange. Strange. That's all. Excuse me. So like, but that being said, this I noticed there's like was a teachable moment. That was two instances, two separate instances. I one was bothers. The first instance was it was aggravating. It irritated me because I thought it was messing with my livelihood. I thought it was messing with my money and stuff like that. And then my second instance where I got upset like that, it was when the trauma got brought up, I was mad about thinking about the trauma. I was mad that somebody was able to figure me out that easily. Um, so, there's that recurring pattern. And then, like, even throughout the week, there was instances, where I might have got into an argument with my wife or got into a small argument with somebody else and just not, just allowing myself to pause, walking away from the situation. Yeah, that was very powerful. It was extremely powerful. Like, because my issue was I used to hear this saying that was like it goes, I'm sorry, it goes when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. So in that saying, I always used to equate myself to the unstoppable force. That's always what I thought I was. That's always what resonated with me. Excuse me. I don't know. It's just maybe because of my fast-paced lifestyle. You know, always wanting to know now, wanting to get answers now, always wanting to get out ahead. So I always thought I had to be in movement. I always thought I had to be in action. But come to find out, you can choose if you want to be the unstoppable force or the unmovable object. And lately I've been practicing more to be unmovable and it's uncomfortable because I gotta sit in my emotions. I have to sit in my negativity and my angerness and my sadness, but it's okay to sit in it because if you don't know how to react, why do we react? Like, why would I react? It doesn't make sense. If I don't know how to respond to a situation, why am I even trying to respond to it? So that's kind of like where these things have been leading me to. So it's like, be the unmovable object. Like, sit there. The bad times will pass. The bad news will pass. And if you sit there, still, quiet, resilient, you know, the bad times pass. And then you can think about it. You just think about it. And maybe you figure a way out. Maybe you don't, but it's gonna pass. Um, yeah, that was my big realization this week. Um, we don't always have to act on everything. So I started this podcast. This is I didn't start this out of anger, of course, I know, but it's that hyperfixation I have where I get to thinking about something and I don't stop. So when I started thinking about this podcast, I ran and got my studio together in less than a week, and I started recording my first episode, put it out probably at the week mark. And here I am at the 2 weeks, and I'm on my second episode now. I'm uploading as soon as I get done with this. So yeah, I get excited about stuff and I take off. So it's like it's not even about just like being angry. It's like with anything. Um, so the podcast was a good idea. At least I think. I hope you guys do too. I hope you guys enjoy this. If not, I mean, I enjoy it a little bit too. So that's a good thing. But I was like, I would love, maybe other people to enjoy it. That'd be cool. But so that was my one of those situations where I was hot fixated on it because it's like I notice even when I'm angry, I fixate on the anger. So like I can start equating those that scenarios because like that's the thing. It's like sitting still doesn't mean you only sit still during the bad times. Like sometimes you gotta sit still during the good times. Like enjoy it, I guess. Thinking or just to like take the time to see what you did. So that was just an example. So I also started building a shed. My wife asked me for a shed, and so, me being the good addict I am, I started hyperfixating on that shit. I spent the last 3 days buying everything I need, and I got all my materials really cheap. That was my non-negotiable. Um, if you guys don't have those, I highly recommend you to start making your non-negotiable rules. I always try to set non-negotiables for things that I do. But yeah, so I hyper fixated on it. I got my lumber, I got all my stuff, and then yesterday I was wrapping up some shopping that I was doing, off marketplace, trying to be conscious, and then I realized that I had more money than I thought, and I was like, "Oh, let's go to Home Depot and buy everything else I need." And I was like, said something to a guy that was with me, and he was like, "Yeah, man, let's go. I'll go with you." And anyway, so yeah, I kept driving and I sat in that moment. I sat because that's the thing. Like you don't always have to sit in it for long. I sat in it for a few minutes while I kept driving, and I was like, no, you had your non-negotiables. You're not going to do that. So I did not go to Home Depot. I did not spend a bunch of money, thankfully. And then the next day, lo and behold, today I was able to go and find everything I needed for cheap off of the marketplace. So, I avoided that. I avoided that just by sitting in the moment. It's like I was telling one another my therapist. Yeah, I got several. So I was telling another therapist that's like, I know I can do it all, but that doesn't mean I should do it all. And I mean, that's not a great thing, great way to think all the time. I mean, maybe for me, it's helped me through my life. Maybe it's harmed me. I don't know. But that's how I've been looking at it lately. Just because I can doesn't mean I should. So, it's okay to, sometimes you need to slow down and pause. Just hit that pause button. We get used to, we were running our lives so fast, so quickly, always, that, you know, let's slow down. Let's slow down. Or at least that's or that worked for me. And it's been working for me. Maybe it could work for somebody else. I don't know. That's why I thought I'd bring it up. Um, Once again, this is not. I'm sorry, I didn't say that at the beginning. This is not a professional podcast. I'm not a professional. I did not go to school for this. Do not know much about psychology, psychiatry. I just know about getting sober. um, I know it's not easy. It's something I do every day, but here we are fighting the good fight. So yeah, that was my teaching moment for this week, guys. It was my teaching moment was I do not need immediate clarity. I do not need immediate clarity. It's okay. It's okay sometimes to be in the unknown. Decisions don't belong at the peak of emotion. Decisions do not belong at the peak of an emotion. Uh, yeah, I used to make a lot of mistakes like that. Slowing down is not giving up. It's not. You don't. Slowing down is not giving up. Uh, it's crazy because yeah, even when I used to work, I used to tell people, you want to go fast, you need to go slow. And then when you start to go slow, you'll start going steady, and then steady is fast. So yeah, just go slow. Like we can slow down, and then your process, the process, the process matters more than the performance. Nobody's gonna remember what you did today in 5 weeks from now, but the process, they'll see the process, they'll see you working, and they'll see you changing, and they'll see you trying to be better. And let's say we don't change it, we don't change overnight, don't change everything, but we're working. It's a process, guys. At least that's what it's been for me. Oh, so with that being said, nothing is finished yet. That's the thing about this, it's not finished. I still don't know what the next decision is. Uh, yeah. I mean, with my job, sure. I mean, I'm going to keep working. You know, hopefully, I'm doing everything right. They'll like it. They'll enjoy it. If not, I mean, I'm sure they'll let me know. Then we'll pivot without anger, without getting frustrated, without throwing a fit. Like my son says, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. So, yeah, I'm also learning that I don't have to decide everything when I'm flooded. Uh, yeah, that happens a lot, especially for me because I always stay busy. So it's not good to make decisions when you're busy. Just focus on what you're doing. I know I keep saying to slow down, and then I say I'm busy, but you can be busy. Just slow down while you're doing it. So yeah, I mean, for now, the work is pausing. That's what the work's about. The work is all about pausing. Process over performance, regulation over urgency. Guys, I appreciate you staying with me, ladies too. I appreciate y'all staying to the end. I didn't make it long today. I'm gonna try to keep it to about 20 to 30 minutes. You guys let me know what you think, if you enjoy it, if this is a good length. I'll keep doing it. I'm not here to teach a lot. I'm just here to talk and tell y'all what I'm going through. So I think that, that's a good time. So just let me know. Once again, be kind to yourself, please. Love yourself. And be kind to your fellow people, to your family members. We're all in this together, regardless if you're an addict, you're sober, whatever it is you do. I mean, we're all on this world together, so let's be nice to each other. Let's love each other. If this brought up any emotions, anything negative for you, I'm sorry. That was not my intention. Um, Again, I try to post resources if they're needed. They're there, guys. It's okay to ask for help. I know I did. I know I did. So thank you, everybody. This was another episode of The Journey Forward, and I will see y'all next week. Have a good night.